growing towns in all of Idaho, but it is changing very, very fast. I used to think this was a great fit for anyone that wanted to live in North Idaho, but seeing all this growth, seeing all the change, I don't think it is. In fact, I don't think I could ever live here again. Today, I'm going to talk about what Post Falls was like when I moved here back in 1992, what the changes that are taking place now, what it's like living here now, and where I think this place is going in the future. By the end of this video, you should have a really good understanding of what Post Falls is like and where it's headed, so you can decide if this is a place that you could see yourself living. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of Living Life in North Idaho. My name is Trent, and on this channel we talk about what it's like living, eating, working, playing, and buying real estate here in Idaho. If that's of interest to you, go ahead and tap that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so every time I come out with a new video, you're getting notified. Now this is pretty crazy to say, but this has been one of the toughest videos I've ever made. Not because of the technical aspects while filming or anything, but because it was a slap in the face from reality I was not prepared for. I drive through Post Falls daily, but I don't normally go exploring like I do when I'm out filming for a video. And there was so much more growth in construction than I had realized was going on. Some of the growth in construction is actually pretty exciting, but there are aspects to it that are telling me I could never live here again. And not saying that in a bad way, it's more of a personal thing. But I know it will apply to a few of you who are watching this, and for the rest of you, it will probably make a great place for you to call home. So let's break down what's changed since I moved here, and then I'll go over what's good, what's not so great about living here, and who will actually love living in Post Falls. Then I'll explain why I don't think I can ever live in Post Falls again. If you're thinking about moving here, this will help you figure out if it's the right fit for you or not. Post Falls has changed a lot. When I first moved here in 1992, Post Falls was a quiet, small town with farmland, mom and pop shops, and a ton of open space. It was kind of the place where you knew your neighbors, and there was a real sense of community. Most everyone went to a church, and you'd see a ton of people you knew at the county fair. The house I grew up in was right next to some potato fields behind the Highlands Golf Course neighborhood, and my friends and I rode our bikes everywhere. We explored the woods, skateboarded in the nicer neighborhoods with smooth roads, despite the wealthier homeowners calling the cops on us. It was a simple life. There were no major traffic issues, no sprawling subdivisions, and no massive corporations taking over the local economy. Today, Post Falls is growing fast, and it's completely different from the town I remember. The growth is explosive. Like I said, Post Falls is one of the fastest growing cities in Idaho, and with that growth comes major changes. Housing developments are replacing farmland, apartments are popping up everywhere, traffic is increasing, and construction is unavoidable. The population is now over 45,000 people, and it's only going up. Some people love the growth because it means more opportunities, more businesses, and more services. Others, like me, feel like it's losing small town charm that once made it special. If you're looking for a place that's growing and evolving, this could be a great opportunity. It's pretty much perfect for starting a new service-based business, store, or restaurant. But if you're searching for a quiet town that still feels rural, this might not be the best fit for you. Post Falls used to be affordable, but that's not exactly true anymore. One of the biggest reasons I won't move back is that Post Falls is no longer the affordable alternative to places like Coeur d'Alene, Hayden, and Sandpoint. The average home price is now $595,000. Rent averages around $2,250 for a house and $1,100 for an apartment. The cost of living is 14% higher than the national average, and a family needs just over $87,000 per year to live comfortably here. For comparison, when my parents moved here, they bought our house for $100,000. My first home cost me $165,000. Now, a home is nearly $600,000, and wages haven't increased at the same rate. That being said, if you're coming from California, Seattle, or Portland, these prices might still seem reasonable. But for longtime locals, this has made Post Falls a much more expensive place to live. The city was never designed for this much growth. In fact, it wasn't ever really designed at all. The biggest issue with Post Falls isn't just that it's growing, it's how it's growing. Post Falls was never designed to be a big city. The growth has been unplanned and scattered, leading to traffic problems, poor infrastructure, and a lack of cohesive city planning. You'll see million-dollar riverfront homes right next to double-wide trailers. There are 2 major grocery stores, but they're only 1 mile apart. Businesses and neighborhoods are crammed together randomly with no real flow at all. And there is no downtown to speak of. They're trying with a new development known as Millworks, but nothing official. I actually spoke to a city planner back in 2016 when I was considering converting my shop into having an apartment above it. He told me, you can pretty much do whatever you want here. The city won't stop you. The only thing that might stop you is your HOA or CC&Rs. That's because the local government believes in minimal interference when it comes to city planning. Some people love that freedom. Others, like me, think it has created a chaotic, unstructured city that doesn't function well. And this is actually a pretty common view. Here's some reviews I found online of how other people feel about it. Post Falls had great potential. Too bad the city planning committee blew it. Such a disorganized bunch of housing communities built just what looks like wherever there was vacant lots. They can be between apartments, mobile home communities, farms, and businesses. They don't have enough paved sidewalks, trees, playgrounds, and for the population, strip mall. And we won't go political, other than they spent Post Falls money on a beautiful, much too big building for City Hall. Should look out the window and fix the streets surrounding it. I give it thumbs down, other than the people are fantastic. P.S. Stop billing people who no longer live there. Post Falls is growing in population size, but there is not much to do here. There are grocery stores, but not retail shopping places. I would say I like the small town feel of the city itself. However, as I've been here for the past 8 years, I would say there's been a large increase in population. That's my least favorite part now. I miss the small hometown feel. However, the wilderness here is beyond beautiful. If you're moving to Post Falls, you need to know that traffic is becoming a pretty big issue in certain areas. For instance, there's an $80 million freeway project at Highway 41 in Celtice designed to handle future growth, but it's taking them 3 years to build. Even though the city is building this massive interchange, other parts of Post Falls still have gravel side roads, no sidewalks, and very little public transportation. If you live here, you're gonna need a car, and even then, getting around town can take longer than you'd expect. Right about now, you're probably asking yourself, why would anyone want to live here? Well, here's why. Despite the growing population, there's still a small town feel when it comes to being neighborly. People still hold open doors and smile at you as you walk by. Crime rates are much lower here than in many places throughout the country. There are a lot of parks. There's a river that is great for fishing, swimming, and boating right up into Lake Coeur d'Alene. And you can't really beat the location being between Coeur d'Alene, Spokane, and Sandpoint. You're surrounded by beautiful mountains, and wildlife is never too far away. So who's gonna love living in Post Falls? Even though I personally don't feel like I could move back, I know that Post Falls is the perfect place for some people. If you fall into one of these categories, you're probably going to love it. 1, you want a growing, developing city. If you like living in a place that's rapidly expanding with new businesses, restaurants, and job opportunities coming in, Post Falls is perfect. The growth here isn't slowing down anytime soon, and like I said before, a lot of service-based businesses are needed to take care of the growing population. Number 2, you want less government involvement. You're tired of strict zoning laws and government regulations. Post Falls has a hands-off approach to city planning. That means you have more freedom to build, develop, and use your property how you want. But make sure you watch out for those HOA rules. They will prevent you from doing that. Number 3, you want a mix of city and outdoors. Post Falls offers a little bit of everything. You're close to Coeur d'Alene and Spokane for city life, but you also have quick access to hiking, lakes, skiing, and outdoor activities. Number 4, you're coming from a more expensive area. If you're moving from California or Washington, Post Falls will still feel affordable compared to where you're coming from. The cost of living is high for Idaho, but still lower than major West Coast cities. Now, would I ever move back? For me, the answer is no. Not until I can afford to buy my big custom home on acreage that's up in the mountains and overlooks the city of Post Falls. Post Falls is where I went through some of the hardest times in my life. Divorce, financial struggles, and personal challenges. The town has changed so much that it really no longer feels like home. That being said, I don't think Post Falls is a bad place to live at all. I just know that it's not the right place for me. So if you're considering moving here, I encourage you to visit first, explore, and see if it feels like home for you. Post Falls is not the same town it used to be. It's growing, evolving, and changing fast. For some people, that's exciting. For others, it's frustrating. At the end of the day, it all comes down to what you're looking for in a place to live. If you want more information about Post Falls, reach out to me and my team. I can help answer your questions and find the right spot for you in North Idaho. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.